The Drop Book Series by 7 Drops, based on the writings of Luisa Piccarreta. A drop in the immense sea of the divine will. Page 27. How would a bird glorify God if it had a voice? We don't know for sure, but we can imagine. God, thanks for the air that lifts my wings. This tree you made would be a great place to build my nest. Thank you for the sweet rain to soften the earth so I can find juicy worms. I'm going to fly high over your beautiful world. I love you, Father. Now, as priests, we can put our voice into the birds so it can finally tell God, I love you. We can do this for all of creation. A very helpful round to pray is when you see or hear about someone who is suffering. Maybe you know your neighbor is sick. Maybe the TV news reported some American soldiers were killed in action. There is so much suffering in the world, and it is wasted. Any suffering joined with the cross of Jesus has redemptive power, but no one takes the time to offer the suffering to the Father. The next time you see or hear of someone suffering, make a round out of it. For example, I take Matt's suffering from the bully at school and I join it with Jesus' cross. I give it to you, Father, for your glory and for the reparation of sins of all souls, past, present, and future. May your kingdom come. No suffering should be wasted because when offered to the Father, it will become a penance for the sins we have all committed and for the souls in purgatory. When you hear of some tragedy, like someone suffering with cancer, you can pray for that person and their family. It's not always God's plan to physically heal a person because God may want that person to come to heaven. But you can always pray to the Father. Pray to have the Father use the suffering the person and the family are going through for the good of all souls. God will always answer this prayer. You will feel a great peace when you do this because you are bringing an infinite good out of a situation that may be very sad. You may wonder how you can make your prayers multiply in everyone and in all creation. How you can take Jesus and Mary's acts and make them your own. How you can put your voice in creation. How you can take possession of acts done in the past, present, and future, and how you can offer other people's suffering to God. Remember, the divine will is the essence of God, and now you share in His divine life. Since God is everywhere, so are you. Jesus compared a soul living in the divine will to a drop of water dispersed in the immense sea of God's will. It may seem that you are only in your home or at school, but you are in all creation, past, present, and future. You are in the trees, the stars, other people, souls in purgatory. This is how you can put your voice in all creation, take possession of acts, multiply acts to the infinite. Does this seem impossible to you? Nothing is impossible to God. Lesson on rounds. Since everything is part of creation, the rounds that you can do are endless. You can make a round very general. For example, I take possession of all the acts of all people. I offer them to you, Father, with my love, for your glory, and on behalf of all souls, past, present, and future. May your kingdom come. Or you can make a round very specific. For example, I put my voice in all the raindrops, and I have them shout, I love you, for your glory, Father, and on behalf of all souls, past, present, and future. May your kingdom come. Don't worry about your words. The Holy Spirit will guide you. The important thing is that you start to give the Father everything he should have received from man over the last 6,000 years, while man was on his detour. If you think doing a round seems too complicated, it may help to break it down into parts. This is what you do in a round. First, take possession of or put your voice in some part of creation. Example, birds, flowers, the moment God created the stars, all of Jesus' miracles, the acts of the saints, the voices of all children. 2. Put your I love you in it. 3. Give it to the Father for his glory. 4. Give it on behalf of all souls, past, present, and future. 5. Ask for the kingdom to come. This is the reason why we live in the divine will. We need to get off the 6,000-year detour and back on the original path God planned for us. If we give God the glory he deserves from everyone, he will allow the kingdom to come. Do you have to use all these words to make your prayer a real round? Of course the answer is no. You may want to use some of these words in the beginning so that you understand the powerful work you're doing, but after a while, you will develop your own rounds. Let's do some simple rounds while you are the first baseman in the middle of a final game of the season. Try this. You are waiting for the first batter to step to the plate. Picture Jesus and you pushing a huge pile of baseball players towards the throne of God. You decide you might as well throw in all the acts of hockey, football, soccer, basketball players into your imaginary pile. Now you have done a round before the batter takes his first swing. You took possession of all the acts of kids who play sports. You put your I love you on it. Jesus did everything for love of the Father. So when you do anything with Jesus, you are doing it for love of the Father. 3. Gave it to the Father for his glory. You and Jesus are pushing a pile towards the throne. 4. Gave on behalf of all souls, past, present, and future. Jesus never thought of himself. He did everything for all of us. 5. Asked for the kingdom to come. You know that you are not pushing these piles with Jesus in the middle of the ball game for the fun of it. You are doing the work for the divine will to help usher in the kingdom with Jesus. There is plenty of time for more rounds at first base, in between batters, and while they are warming up the new pitcher, you and Jesus push a pile of trees towards the throne. The neighborhood dog prompts you to push a pile of animals. The fly buzzing you gives you the idea of making a huge pile of insects for the Father. The batter gets hit by the pitch. You offer up his suffering and a huge pile of injuries and sicknesses to the Father. A friend of yours makes it to first and you exchange a few words. Jesus and you make a huge pile of kind words to give to the Father. As you walk back to the dugout after the third out, you wonder what Jesus played when he was a kid. You make a huge pile of everything Jesus did as a boy and you push it with him towards the throne of the Father. There you go. Rounds on first base. If you can do rounds in the middle of a ball game, you can do them anywhere. Just do everything with Jesus. As you grow in the divine will, the Holy Spirit will guide you in your own rounds so that you can add these rounds to your day full of acts in the divine will. When rounds become second nature to you, like turning on the light when you walk into a dark room, you are well on your way to living the divine life.